Hi guys, today we're going to talk all about the cost of living in Melbourne. Before we talk about how much you'll spend while living in Melbourne, we also want to briefly discuss how much you can earn here. The median weekly earnings in Australia in 2022 is $1,209. Of course, this will depend on your profession. For instance, a retail sales assistant would be on about $49,000 a year, while an admin assistant would be on about 55 grand, and a software engineer at about 95 grand a year. We'll start our spending with the biggest cost of all, rent. When looking for accommodation in Melbourne, the best sites to look at are of course realestate.com.au and Domain, while share housing is best found on Flatmate Finders and in Facebook groups. The weekly rent for a one-bed apartment in the city will set you back about $300 to $400 depending on the size. For example, we pay $395 per week for a two-bed, two-bath apartment in the city. You could find a studio for as low as $280, usually around the Carlton area. They've got some cheap studios around there. Or for $600, you could get a 3-bedroom apartment. If you aren't interested in inner city living, then you could go out into the suburbs and end up paying much less in rent too. It will also give you more options for houses, and if you have pets or if you want to have some flatmates, you can find a great big place with a yard. For example, in Maribyrnong, you could find a 3-bedroom house for under $400, or in Northcote, you could find a 2-bedroom for about $350. Both of those suburbs aren't that far away from the city, and if you go out even further, then the price gets lower and lower. Melbourne has pretty good public transport. If you're looking at using it, then you'll need to purchase a Myki pass. There's both full fare and concession. You also have the option to top it up with Myki Money or a Myki pass. You can top up on your phone if you have Android by using Google Pay. If you use a Myki pass, you'll end up saving quite a bit of money. A quick breakdown for full fare is as follows. For a daily ticket, it will cost you $9.20 and a 2-hour ticket will be $4.60. If you buy a weekly Myki pass, it will cost you $46. Monthly is $154.56 and yearly is $17.94. Another one of the biggest costs that awaits you is food. We all need to eat. The cheapest way is doing most of your shopping at the supermarket. The best options are Coles, Woolies, Woolworths and Aldi. Aldi is your cheapest option. However, if you shop for sales and reduced items, then Coles and Woolies can end up being fairly cheap too. As an example, a 2-litre bottle of milk in Woolies is $2.60, whereas in Aldi it's $2.39. Choice.com did a great breakdown of the three by comparing a basket of 29 items bought at these three main chains. An Aldi supermarket brand basket came in at $80.75, Woolies was $86.93 and Coles was $87.56. So all kind of pretty close really. Now we're going to talk a little bit about clothing. The great thing about Melbourne is that you have many choices when it comes to clothing, and it can cater for either high-end or budget choices. For example, you can buy a dress at Zara or H&M for about $60 on average, or you can go to Kmart or Big W and spend $20 or so, or even less. Another option is to go thrifting at places like Vinnie's or Brotherhood and spend $5 to $10. And now for entertainment, a few things. So the cost of a cinema ticket is about $20 to $25, depending if you go to Village, Hoyts, or some of the more kind of ones like Lido cinemas and things like that. They can get a bit cheaper, but the screen sizes get a bit smaller too. A pot of beer is about $6 to $8, while a pint is about $12 to $16. My advice to save money is to go to bars during happy hour, and that way you can buy cheap pints, like for example at European Beer Cafe, during the happy hour you can get $9 pints. For a coffee at a cafe, you're looking at around $4.50 for a regular on average, with large being $5 to $5.50 usually. So the price of coffee is definitely on the rise here in Melbourne, unfortunately. Bills. So bills can be a tricky one, so it can depend on various factors. So for this one, I'll break down what we as a couple generally pay monthly on average. So for us, electricity, we pay on average about $100 a month for electricity. This includes using a heater, electric cooktop, and keeping our lights on a fair bit really. Water, on average, we're paying about $30 a month for water. So pretty cheap really. Phone, you can pay as little or as much depending on if you're on a plan or prepaid. Personally, I bought my phone outright, so I pay a $30 monthly prepaid plan with Amaysim, which comes with 55 gigabytes a month and rolls over. So currently I have about 382 gigs to use, which I'd never really end up using. So $30, and that's pretty much unlimited data. Wi-Fi, we pay $75 monthly for unlimited broadband with Vodafone. We had 5G briefly and we're paying about $70 for that. So you can probably find some a little cheaper and some a bit more expensive, but that's about the average depending on what plan you're on. So this has been the cost of living in Melbourne. We really hope this video helps you when you're deciding to come here or if you're already here. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.